On Sunday night, and you will hear him right here on your home of the Packers. Our conversation today with Wayne brought to you by Cowall Investment Group, the retirement specialist, and by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Wayne, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Doing good. Before the Packers bury the Chiefs, let's praise them. There. How's that for overconfidence?
That's pretty good.
Forget that first statement, but I do want to talk about why and how the Chiefs are so good. As I think about them, and I was thinking about them a bit today driving in, these sons of guns are so good, yet they're so different in a lot of ways than what they've been the last couple of years. To me, Wayne, it's what I call the iron triangle of Mahomes, Kelsey, and Andy Reid at the top. With that iron triangle, they're going to be good because they're the best probably at what they do, respectively. Like Kelsey's this unicorn. There's replicas around the league. Kittle, when healthy, is kind of like that, but there's only one Kelsey. Mahomes is, of course, the magic unicorn that does things that nobody else can do. And Andy Reid, man, guy is a phenomenal coach. So your thoughts on why the Chiefs are good, how they're good, despite the fact that their team continues to kind of evolve and morph where they're not what they were a couple years ago.
Yeah, obviously they really missed Tyreek Hill. They, had to part ways with him a couple of years ago. It was okay last year when they made it to the Super Bowl and won. But their emphasis has become even more Kelsey-centric in their passing game. And they've got a lot of young receivers who are explosive and can make plays. Mahomes is Mahomes, but his receivers have dropped 30 balls on him, depending on what service you look at. Because, again, drop passes is a subjective statistic. But most people think it's about 30, and they lead the league by a wide margin. Mahomes is still completing almost 70% of his passes, 68%. He's phenomenal. He absolutely is. And what makes them so hard to prepare against, Andy Reid is brilliant, but it is the creativity, the professional creativity of the combination of Mahomes and Kelsey, that when they come off the script, and they're almost always off the script, Kelsey almost never runs the script. That's what's hard to prepare for. That's where Joe Barry is sitting there yesterday saying, and you could tell he didn't say it, but it's like, how do you prepare for that? You don't. I mean, that's what they do. And it's something that you can't quite prepare for. So although the Chiefs offense is not having a vintage season, that's a given. The penalties, all right, the turnovers, they've had 19 of them. They've also had, a lot of miscues in different areas, the penalties, especially on that offensive line. But this is still a team that can put points on the board in a hurry.
I fear their offense is like the lawnmower engine that hasn't started but is about to start.
Yeah.
The 12th pull of the season because Rashee Rice is coming on. They're figuring some things out. They've dropped too many passes, even with MVS on the team so far. So if they tighten a couple things up, it could be explosive. For the Packers at running back, it's pretty dire as we head into today as to who's going to be available. Who do you think will be available? And if not, how do they fashion a running game that is at least sufficient to be balanced on Sunday night?
I think what you do, you've got A.J. Dillon, and you're hoping it's cold, and this is his kind of weather. This is where he excels at this stage of the year. The other thing that they've done, they put in some reverses. Jaden Reed has become a factor in the running game. Obviously, your quarterback has the kind of escapability that can give you some help in the running game. But I think it starts with A.J. Dillon. I don't anticipate seeing Aaron Jones in this game. But that's where it begins with Dillon, and then you sprinkle in some of the other factors, those reverses, jet sweeps, things like that. That's kind of what you have to do. It's where you are now to cobble together a running game that will be adequate enough to support the passing game.
When you put together a running game and again, different looks, and something like a lot of Packer fans have wanted to see a little bit more, hey, get these young wide receivers that are quick with the ball in some space and let them kind of create for you a little bit. Has the running back or the injuries to the running back helped develop these young wide receivers over the last couple of weeks?
I wouldn't put it that way. Injuries to the running backs, I don't think has helped anything. It's made it been a handicap on this team a little bit. The running statistics aren't abysmal, but it's not the kind of force we expected to see. And a lot of that has to do with the injury to Aaron Jones, the injuries, I should say. But no, the development of the receivers, I think, has been pretty much on target as expected. They're getting better and better. And yeah, there's some different things you can do with these guys to get them into space. You don't always have to throw it to them. Yeah, you can hand it to them at times. I wouldn't be surprised to see some formations where the receivers start lining up in the offensive backfield, much like what Kansas City does.
For the Packers to win, they have to do what? Finish that statement.
The Packers would have to win the turnover battle, get an extra possession or two, and contain. They aren't going to stop them, but contain the Mahomes to Kelsey hookup.
Wayne, when we've been all day trying to talk about, okay, here are the 5 things that they have to do. Here's, analyzing what the Packers can do to beat the Chiefs. And I said, you just have to do what you did last week. Just try to replicate what you did on Thanksgiving Day, because that was the best game we saw from this team all season. Obviously, the Chiefs are different than the Lions. What's the biggest difference, though, that this Packers team is going to see between their matchup on Thanksgiving and their matchup on Sunday night?
Oh, we've kind of buried the lead on the Kansas City Chiefs in this conversation, guys. The defense is carrying Kansas City right now to wherever it's going, and they are outstanding. It's the best defense I've seen. I understand the numbers. They're like 3rd in points. They're 4th in yards. I understand the numbers aren't quite what maybe some other teams are posting around the league. But you watch this defense. If football's a game you've got to watch, you can't review statistics and think you know what's going on. You've got to see the game. When you watch Kansas City, that's the best defense in the National Football League. They pressure you from angles that other teams only dream about. For example, they're bringing cornerbacks on pressure on a regular basis. L'Jarius Sneed on one side, and when you go on the other side, Trent McDuffie coming in there. They are disruptive, whether they're rushing 4 or 5 or 3. Whatever they bring, it's the most creative blitz plan I've seen. We've seen heavy blitz packages, Minnesota. Okay, this is a different level than Minnesota. They're on a whole different level. From a situation of the way they bring pressure and how they do it.
All right, I've been getting a couple of text reports that MVS has been cut by the Chiefs. I have not seen that. I just Googled his name multiple times, multiple places. Wayne, are you hearing this?
No, that's
okay.
I've heard of it.
Okay, well then, if this report is incorrect, we have to block the people who fed us this information.
I don't think this is correct at all.
Right. Anyone that texts in blatantly wrong factual assertions will get blocked. You can't do that. We miss stuff. We appreciate when people say, hey, this just came down the wire because we're worried about running the show. You tell us something that is factually incorrect, you're blocked. That's for us to deal with. Wayne, not your problem. Thank you very much, my friend. Have a great call, and careful on the travel. It looks like it could be a little bit dicey this weekend.
All right, guys. All the best. Have a great weekend.
All right, Wayne Larrivee, everybody.